What's up everyone, my name is Guillaume and welcome to this new episode of Hit the Tone.
Like this!
Hello everyone, I hope you're doing fantastic today and welcome to this new episode of Hit the Tone on Thomann's Guitars and Basses. If you're new around here, I'm basically taking a bunch of really famous guitar riffs and try to give you all the tools you need to hit the tone. Now I've already covered a ton of songs, so I'll drop the playlist in the description box, but if I haven't covered your favorite song, please drop it in the comment section down below and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. And while you're down there, if you can consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel, that would be phenomenal. Thank you so very much in advance. And with that said, let's start with today's song, which is Walk This Way by Aerosmith. Now, Aerosmith on this format was definitely long overdue. You guys have been asking for it for quite a long time, and I didn't really know where to start, so I kind of just picked one of my favorite riffs, which is Walk This Way. Joe Perry is such a monster guitar player. There's so many great riffs in Aerosmith, so many great lead parts, but this one is definitely in my top 5, so I'm gonna go with that, starting with the guitar setup, and obviously Joe Perry's a massive Gibson user. He's played every guitar. His collection is just incredible. He's got Fender stuff, he's got Strats and Tellys, obviously, but mostly Gibson Les Pauls for the most part. Some really cool stuff with Bixby's and Trem systems and all. But I think that's probably going to be the closest thing I can get to it. So I went with that Gold Up Les Paul Standard. I'll be playing in the bridge position. And let's have a look at our amp and pedal setup. And as far as that goes, Joe Perry is a massive user of Marshall amplifiers. Among other things, it has so many combos on stage and different stacks of custom-built amplifiers, Fenders. It's really, really hard to pinpoint exactly what was used on that particular recording, but I would say that sort of honkiness, that very, Les Paul and a Marshall kind of tried and true sound shines through on that particular riff. So I went with the Marshall MK2 Studio, which is the smaller version of the infamous Plexi. It is absolutely cranked, so it's really, really loud. The bass is all the way down because with that kind of volume, you don't need to add any bass into it. It just makes it a little bit floppy. And then on the floor, I do have the J-Rocket Archer. I'm not going to use it. I had it there because I thought I would need sort of that tightness and boosting into the Marshall, but I kind of realized that it was more of a lead sound, at least in that very specific context, rather than the intro sound. So I'll just be going guitar into the amp, and it's going to sound like this. Too good. So again, it's not the most focused kind of guitar sound, and you might want to add some, compression into that, just a boost pedal or an overdrive pedal to make it a little bit crisper, a little bit tighter in the low end. But I think that's definitely close to what's on the recording, so I'm going to use that, and we're going to go on the final part of that video, which as usual is the most important and is how to play the riff. Now, as you've seen before, I'm going to cut that explanation into 2 parts. There's going to be that intro, super iconic riff, and then I'm going to go on to the verse part of it, because I just think it's really cool. So yeah, no other reason. If you want any links to the gear that I'm using today, some more recommendations, they'll be in the description box down below, and there you'll find the tabs as well if you need some more help practicing the song. But with that said, let's have a look at the fretting side of it. Now, this is not a really hard riff to play. On the fretting side of it, it's fairly simple, but there's that groove to it. It's going to be driven by the right hand, and there's a couple tricks going along with that. So let's have a look. Now, as you've seen here, or at least as obvious as I was trying to make that, there are two components to the picking part of that riff, which really help bringing it closer to the way it sounds when Joe plays it. And the first of these is going to be muting. Not all the strings are resonating throughout the riff and resonating over one another, so you really want to get your pull muting on point to make sure that you hear every single note, but it doesn't sort of bleed over the following ones. And there's some accents in there where the string is going to snap a little bit harder than the other ones because you're going to be muting part of them in there. So you really want to pay attention to that. And the second thing is finger picking, because I do think that within the riff you hear some finger picking. It's not just pick attack, it might even just be finger picking, but I'd recommend using at least hybrid picking, chicken picking as I was doing here, or even just regular finger picking, because I think the sounds is a little bit closer when you do that. But with that said, let's have a quick look at the verse riff. Now the verse riff is really cool. It's a lot simpler than the intro, whether it's talking about the fretting or the picking side of it. But on the fretting side, it is a bit of a stretch. So if you're starting playing guitar and you're not used to using your pinky mostly to go and grab that 13th or 12th fret within the riff, that's absolutely fine. It's going to take some stretching, it's going to take some getting used to, but I'm sure you'll get there in no time. But otherwise, it's just a fairly simple rock, blues rock kind of verse riff. So that's that. Let's have a look at the picking side of that. And again, on the picking side of it, fairly simple. There are some accents where you're going to be picking on the A string a little bit harder or on the D string a little bit harder. It's mostly a feel thing because he's not really consistent about that. It's a very organic kind of playing. It's relying a lot on the singing as well. So you can kind of make it your own, but in itself, it's just, you know, alternate picking, just the regular thing. And with that said, I think that's it, guys. You have all the tools you need to hit the tone on Walk This Way by Aerosmith. As per usual, I really hope that this video was useful. I hope you had fun learning that song, or at least some bits of facts and information about it. If so, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on the next one, because it very well could be your song. Just let me know which one you want me to cover in the comments and I'll get to you as soon as I possibly can. In the meantime, I wish you all a fantastic week and I'll see you next Monday in a new episode of Hit the Tone.